Listen to me very carefully. Grade 10 is about to get over in a bit. Your board exams are right here. But there's one mistake everyone makes once their boards are over. They do nothing for the next 3 to 4 months. That is absolutely worthless. Because if you really want to achieve what you want to do, things have to be paced correctly. So, as students and parents, how do you ensure that you're able to actually make the most of the time that you have, the very precious time that you have, while actually feeling nice, relaxed, and motivated? That is what we're going to be dealing with in today's video. I am Mihir of Learners Club. I have been an educator for the past 5+ years, teaching students from grade 9 up to university level, year 2, year 3 undergraduates, various different programs from physics, chemistry, bio, mathematics, nanotech, biotech, and so on and so forth. And this is your guide to cracking what you do in this transitionary period between your 10th and 11th grade. So the very first thing we'll be targeting is your learning goal. Why are you doing what you want to do? That's what we are looking at. So when you reach this stage of your 11th grade, you're just starting into your 11th grade, what now we want to get is, to what extent are you willing to get into your sciences? Till 10th, you've been studying a variety of different topics that are at an intermediary level. This is to give you an exposure of what's to come next. How can you take your career forward within your sciences, and to give you that set of basics, that's what your studies up till your 10th grade has tried to achieve. When you're in your 11th grade, now we want to focus in exactly on what we want to do. Say, as a short term goal, we should at least look at what institutes we want to get in and what exams we want to give. Now, why is this important? In India, of course, the institute that you go to matters because of their access to a variety of different resources, funding, as well as the connects that they have. And to get into these institutes, you ought to give a competitive exam in most cases. So, if I have to reverse plan, my focus will be to understand what all do I need to prepare, exams, profile, or both, to get into the institute that I want to make it in. So within sciences, the top 3 sets of programs that exist within your institutes can be technical. So think of them as your BTech programs. Medical, that's self-explanatory, or research oriented. Within sciences, these are the most common ones. So you're looking at doctor, engineer, scientist. But the prep that you need to do for entering into either of these is completely different. So it is important to understand whether your interest lies in any one of them or more than one of them as well. Important caveat, I don't expect you to be knowing for sure that this is the program I want to get into and this is the institute that I want to go to. What I would like at this stage is for you to tell what not to do. What do you not want to do? Do you not want to get into medical at all? Remove that option. If you don't want to do engineering at all, remove that option. If research is not for you, out. There is no one size fits all method to get into any of these institutes. So you can't just be a jack of all trades and a master of none. Start small, but you will end up growing big. So when we're looking at getting into any of these programs, as I mentioned, the most important thing for you to figure out is what exam you might have to give. What competitive exam sets up your profile as a learner to allow you to be worthy of that institute that you want to get into. Now, why is this learning profile important? Why are you as a learner expected to create a profile? It's because there are way too many learners out there who are eyeing for the same spot that you are. So, in such a case, I would want you people to build a profile up in such a way that you show the world, you show these institutes, how do you stand out? That's the entire idea. So when you're dealing with competitive exams, you of course have JEE, you have NEET, you have maybe your state CETs, you have your QET, so on and so forth. A lot of different exams that you can give. You even have institute specific exams. So your ISERs have their own aptitude test. Neither has its own exam. That is how you'll want to get into all of these. So once you know what kind of a program you want to get into, you can select or eliminate what kind of exams that you want to give at the end of what? Your 12th grade. So this gives you a head start from the very get-go. You are here at the ending of your 10th grade. I just gave you what you need to do by your 12th grade ending. But what about now? What about this phase that I am intending to target with this particular video? Our most important decision will be where to go for 11th grade, followed by what bridging concepts do you have to get into. So let's break it down one by one. Where do you get into your 11th grade? You have two pathways to get into. Either you get into a junior college that is affiliated with an institute that you want to get into. So think something like Xavier's. They have their own junior college, and you can also continue within your senior college because you have a quota available for existing students itself. So if you have a program in that kind of a course, in that kind of a college, your target should be getting into these kind of junior colleges itself. The other option that you end up having, integrated coaching, where your classwork as well as your preparation for competitive exams are all conducted in one particular place itself. Now there are pros and cons to both of these. If you're going to a typical junior college experience, you might not get the most concentrated, the most focused prep. While if you're going purely for an integrated program, you are bound to be within an echo chamber where you might lose out on a lot of important social skills that you need to build at this particular age and at this very critical age. So what I usually end up telling students is to go for this hybrid model. That's something I personally push forward within Learners Club as well. So allowing you students to get preparation the way you want, where you want, along with building skills to actually put yourself out there in the best way possible. So social skills could be skills regarding whatever techniques that you want to build up when it comes to, say, whatever program that you're wanting to get into. As an example, if you're wanting to go for research, you develop skills that allow you to conduct research, that allow you to understand things better, while also making the most of this very precious college time starting from age 16 onwards. So till now, to summarize, when you're just getting done with your 10th grade, getting into 11th grade, the focus should be on what do you want to achieve within these 2 years. Do you want to get yourself set for a technical course, for a medical course, for a research course? Once you know what all you want to do, hear me out very clearly. Once you know what all you want to do, that's when you start finalizing the institutes that you want to study in after 12th, and where do you want to prepare for your 11th and your 12th grade. Once you have these two things done, dusted, finalized, along with the competitive exam that you'll want to be giving, that's when we finally get into the bridging concept. So a couple of things over here. Right now I'm assuming that you will all be taking up physics, chemistry, bio and mathematics. So I will be giving a full-fledged list of what you need to do. You don't need to study the entire 11th grade syllabus in just a couple of months. I don't expect you to do that. But I do want you people to get a head start on just one or two concepts per subject. Physics, chemistry have this one set of common chapters, namely units and dimensions and significant figures. These are very small nitty-gritty things that people tend to forget by the time they reach their 12th grade. But once you have these basics done, dusted, you will not believe how many marks you will end up saving yourself, because students tend to lose marks on these small errors that we can fix from day one. So we're going to do just that. When it comes to chemistry as well, another important set of concepts that you'll want to do is your different concentration terms. Molarity, molality, normality, and all of those interconversions that will be useful for your theory as well as your practical. So you better make the most of it. Mathematics. Get your algebra from your grade 10 done very well. Let me write it down. Get your algebra done from grade 10 very well. So all of your different linear equations, quadratic equations, your arithmetic also needs to be done very well. And for your new concept, look into vectors. Till now, whatever you have done in your 10th grade are all based off scalars. So once you have these basics down, then it makes sense for you to get into vectors. This will help you with physics as well as mathematics. And additionally, provided you're understanding all of these really well, as I said, provided you're understanding all of these really well, go for differentiation and integration. This is optional. Compulsorily get your algebra in, get your vectors in. And if you feel that these are getting a little too easy, that's when you can move for integration and differentiation. These will help you out with all of your different subjects when it comes to physics, chemistry, and mathematics. For bio, you will not believe the most important thing that students need to focus on are your various classifications. That's usually the first chapter within 11th grade bio. But this is not new for you people. You people have done some classification in your previous grade. So you catch up on all of that so that when you have a more substantial set of classifications that you need to understand, as well as the different terminologies. So one thing that I should mention, you have your various model organisms. This will not be directly taught to you people, but you should have a look at what various model organisms exist and what are they used for. These will have scientific names for which you need to know your classification very well. So that's why this is a very important chapter to start with. Finally, timeline. So your boards are definitely ending by end of March. So the last week of March, take a break. Not even kidding. Take a break. We catch up in April. April, what do you need to do in April? You just need to finalize where you're going for 11th grade, what exams you're giving, and what is your goal for after 12th. Sit, think about it, finalize. Then around mid-April, that's when you start all of the bridging concepts. If you are in an institution, they will definitely start off with these concepts. With my students at Learners Club, we will also do this exact same thing. But the small change that we usually make, and that's something I will recommend to all of you, is exposure. So whatever field you will be planning for after 12th, you would want to get exposed to it from now itself. What can be this kind of exposure that we're talking about? Could be institution visits. Say if you're living close to one of these institutes, just go there, see the environment, get a feel of whether you kind of like what you're seeing, whether things feel a little too cramped, it feels too depressed, whatever. Get a feel of it for yourself. Don't listen to others, and definitely do not rely on your next door neighbor telling you what's right, what's wrong. See it for yourself. That's one way. The other way is to get into different talks that are out there. There are many different organizations that have open area talks on various different concepts meant for general audiences. As students of science particularly, you people should look out for these opportunities. Go out. Even if you don't understand anything, you will get an exposure of what's out there, whether you like it or you don't. At Learners Club, we do this with our events called Science Talkies, where we have some or the other things happening every single month for our students, where we're giving them exposure to different fields. So these kind of activities that exist out there give you this exposure. And this is the most important thing for you to get before May starts in. By the time you reach May, if there are concepts that you have not understood from your 10th grade, while you're doing a bridging concept, you have to ensure that you get enough practice in. When you're in May, you're gonna get a lot of practice in, and this is important so that you do not lose this rhythm of studying. I don't expect you people to be studying 12 hours within April, within May, but keep at least 1.5 hours every single day to do just this, and you will not believe how much you will thank yourself at the end of all of this. So when you do all of this, by the time we reach June, you will be absolutely prepared, not just with syllabus, with what you want to actually do. So to summarize all of this, March, relax. Let all of the stress from your board exams calm down. April, start getting exposure. Go to institutes, talk to people within institutes, go to open lectures that are going to feature different fields, and Start slowly with your bridging concepts. Increase your intensity of the bridging concepts by May by increasing a lot of your practice. Solving questions is a must. So that's what happens when you reach May, and June is when you can officially say that you are prepped for a 11th grade. So when most students say that they feel a significant jump from 10th to 11th grade, it can be mitigated, and this is how you will do it. I am Mihir of Learners Club, and I will see you in the next one.